Hi, welcome to SPR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Week 13 in the NFL. We're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Always taking the toughest games each week I ask him to take, and I think we got one here, Joe Duffy. Baltimore, Miami, right? Miami right now a 4 or 4.5 point home favorite. Total's 43.5. Miami got popped at the Jets. They've now lost 4 out of their last 5 ATS. And the Ravens pulled out that crazy win on, Monday Night Football. They got a win, but they're still in general not a good team. And now they're off of a short week off of Monday Night Football. I don't know. Does Miami have what it takes to be a legitimate 4 or 4.5 point home favorite here? And if not, is Baltimore good enough off a short week to justify a play on them getting just 4 or 4.5? Total is 43.5. I could see maybe a shot with the under. I know that Miami is reportedly looking to run a little bit more, and their defense has not been very good recently. They're looking to crack down there. They should be able to do that against Baltimore. So maybe a play with the under might actually have some value. What's your take in this game, Joe?
I'm actually going to go with the underdog here. In the case of Miami, look, they're 4-7 straight up and against the spread. But remember, 2 of those wins came immediately following the firing of Josh Philbin when they really, I think, had a fire lit under them, and you kind of rallied around it, got that short-term spike. But other than that, they've been completely dominated. Look, I'm more than aware of all the Ravens injuries. They're obviously not the team that we thought they would be at the beginning of the year. They've had so many injuries really going back to before the season even started. But still, Miami, they're reeling. They've dropped 4 or 5 straight up and against the spread. And I think, that Baltimore, they've just basically said, look, we are what we're going to put on the field. We're just going to have to rally around all the healthy players. And they're doing a decent job of that. I'm not really all that concerned about the short week. Though the teams have the same straight up record. Baltimore has only been outscored by 1.7 points per game. Miami's been outscored by 5.6. Now, again, I realize that Baltimore's had more than their share of injuries, so one might say that maybe they're not the same team that's only been outscored by 1.7 points per game, but I don't think Miami's the same. I think that's kind of bloated because I'm really throwing out those 2 games where they got kind of the emotional lift after firing Philbin, and we're just finding out, other than those 2 games, they're just not really all that good. So I think the points are a good play here.
All right, man. Joe Duffy down on Miami. Baltimore 2-7-2 against the spread on a short week and completely banged up. That's still good enough to make Joe Duffy want to take them getting 4.5 points. Is that going to be official for you, Joe?
That'll be an official pick, and yeah, the short week doesn't really concern me. I've run plenty of stats on that, and it doesn't concern me.
Okay, and do you have anything to say about the under? I'm not sure of what I think about that. My gut tells me that it's a pretty decent play, even though it is a low total of 43.5.
Yeah, I would lean towards agreeing with you. Look, there's one thing about both offenses. They're both pretty offensive, and I don't mean that in a good way. So it's one of those that I think if it goes over, it'll mostly be because the defenses maybe set up some short fields or you get some defensive scores, etc. But I think, yeah, the under would probably be the higher percentage play.
All right, but Joe Duffy giving us Baltimore plus 4.5 as a free pick. Tough game, Joe Duffy, but you'll tackle them all. And, of course, at your website, that's where you give your top plays every week. Tell us about that, Joe. Tell us how things have been going recently.
Yeah, off a very nice night in basketball, and we're actually, as we filed this report, we hit 11 out of 15 in college basketball. So we do very well in all sports, both long-term and pretty short-term. Just visit Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com. Find out what the basketball card is for tonight, and find out what the football card is for this weekend as we continue to update.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Peter.